Hey guys, it's History Behind the Warrior, and welcome to another Mortal Kombat video. Now today in my What's the Difference series, I will be talking about Sub-Zero. Now before I do start up this video, I want to say thank you to everyone who's been supporting all of the Mortal Kombat content I've been putting out recently. It's been absolutely phenomenal, and I genuinely forgot how much I love this community. So definitely expect to see more videos like this from me in the future. Anyway, let's get back to it. Now for this video, I'll be predominantly talking about the second Sub-Zero, because in the games he's had more of a prominent role than his older brother. And the first Sub-Zero does become Noob Saibot and does deserve his own video, discussing his fall and alterations that have happened to him in this timeline. So I'll be keeping all the information regarding that character for his own video. So for this video, I'll be taking both Mortal Kombat timelines and comparing the main Sub-Zeros we do see in the series. So from the original timeline, I'll be using installments from Mortal Kombat 2, Mortal Kombat 3, 4, Deadly Alliance, Deception, and Armageddon. And obviously I'll be using the new timeline with MK9, X, and even the MKX comic book series, as there's quite a bit that actually goes on in there that isn't highlighted in the Mortal Kombat X game. So you may actually learn something here that you didn't actually know from just playing the game. Now first off, let's actually talk about the similarities of both of these characters and what they do share despite being different timeline counterparts. Now in both timelines, before they actually acquired the title of Sub-Zero from their older brother, in honor of Bihan, they took the name Tundra, which if you can't tell is in fact a ice-based reference, since their older brother goes by the code name of Sub-Zero. So it's a nice little homage. Now as expected, both do pick up the title of Sub-Zero once Bihan is killed off by Scorpion, which to no surprise carries on the Scorpion Sub-Zero blood feud with a new individual wearing the Sub-Zero mantle. Now in both timelines, the quest for revenge comes into conflict with the Lin Kuei. As you see during this time, the Grandmaster started getting his hand on cybernetic technology, assimilating and changing many members of the clan into heartless machines. Now fearing for his own life, he would leave the Lin Kuei alongside Smoke, with the two somewhat getting away. We'll go into more detail with that in a second. Now later down the line, the two counterparts are in fact able to defeat Sector, and by doing this become the new Grandmaster of the Lin Kuei. So both of them re-establish the organization with actual human beings instead of cyborgs. And on top of this, in both timelines, they take on the young Frost as a protege, both knowing that she is quite a hot-headed individual, but is still definitely one that has a lot of potential in her. Now during the end half of the original timeline, the Sub-Zeros learn the fate of their older brother Bihan, and how he's adopted the identity of Noob Saibot, which in turn leads to the brothers clashing. Now in terms of personality, both Sub-Zeros are actually very similar, both starting off as quite brash individuals, as they do have a kind of revenge story arc, but later down the line they both become more level-headed individuals, becoming somewhat noble and understanding more the concept of the greater good. They are heroes in their own right, who are willing to lay down their lives to save others. So in many ways the two characters are the same, but the events that really happen to them is what makes them quite different here. Now the biggest and most significant change between these two characters is the cybernetic form that Sub-Zero does acquire. Now you see, due to flashbacks that Raiden got in Mortal Kombat 9, it causes him to somewhat alter the original story, since Mortal Kombat 9 is a retelling of Mortal Kombat 1, 2, and 3. So during the events of Mortal Kombat 2, in the original timeline, Smoke is captured by the Lin Kuei and assimilated into a cyborg, but due to Raiden's interference via flashbacks, he's in fact able to save Smoke, but in turn for this happening, Sub-Zero's the one to be cyberized instead. So it's a fun little play and twist on what originally happened. Now that the story does progress, Cyber Sub-Zero is able to turn against Lin Kuei once again, but this doesn't last for too long as Sindel is resurrected from the dead, and by being empowered by Shang Tsung's life force, she's able to kill him as well as many of Earthrealm's protectors. So the cybernetic form doesn't last particularly too long. We do however see him resurface at the end of Mortal Kombat 9 when he's resurrected as a revenant by Quan Chi. Now if we do some digging into the Mortal Kombat X comics, we learn in fact that Sub-Zero was quite resistant to Quan Chi's magic due to his cybernetic enhancements. Now Quan Chi, knowing this, would strip his soul from his armor and forge him a completely new body, enslaving him to Quan Chi's will in a new form. Now if you've played Mortal Kombat X's story, you know that this doesn't last for too long, as after Quan Chi is defeated, Sub-Zero is freed from his influence, and much like the original timeline, sets his eyes on the Lin Kuei once more, as he wishes to liberate it from Sector's influence. Now the differences here are very minor, but in the original timeline this happened around Deadly Alliance or so, whereas here it's happening around the Mortal Kombat 4 period. Also, unlike his other timeline counterpart, when he does face off against Sector, he not only defeats him, but also kills him by ripping off his head, freeing the cyborg slaves, and in turn becomes the new Grandmaster. So the new Sub-Zero obtains this title a lot faster than the original. Now something that does happen in the new timeline timeline that doesn't happen at all in the original is that after he becomes a new Grandmaster and starts recruiting people into the Link Way, he attempts to bury the hatchet with Hanzo Hasashi, as the two had been butting horns as Scorpion and Sub-Zero, but knows that the best way to move forward is by putting their grudges aside, as Sub-Zero himself knows that they've been played, as he reveals to Hanzo some information that Sector had hidden, and that was that Quan Chi was responsible for killing his family and clan and pin it on Sub-Zero's older brother. So it's really interesting to see this because it never happens in the original timeline. It is somewhat implied, but we never actually get to see them interact this way via cutscene and essentially become allies. So it's very interesting now that we're in a timeline where the two are on good terms, which is really going to interest me as to how the developers are going to kind of turn the two characters against each other once again, because the iconic duo are known for battling it out. So I'm very interested to see how they write this back into the game. But this does mostly sum up the big differences between the old Sub-Zero and the new Sub-Zero, and in many ways they are very similar. Not much is really different with them. I will say for the most part that the new timeline Sub-Zero has seemingly gone through a lot more than the original Sub-Zero did, but I strongly do believe that's because of the limitations of the technology back then, as the original few Mortal Kombats were simple arcade games. The Mortal Kombat games weren't really able to expand their lore up until the arrival of the PlayStation 2 era, where it obviously started incorporating ideas like the Conquest mode and really started to expand the story, giving the games more narrative around them, which is something we did see a bit with Sub-Zero, but wasn't exactly something they went into depth with, as the games from the PS2 era onwards started to focus on different protagonists, as well as the new generation that was brought with the new installments. Whereas with the retelling here, we're able to retread old steps, but also go in a different direction with what we know, which is what we have clearly seen here. They more or less took a formula for a character that already existed and decided to expand on it more, which essentially is what the new Sub-Zero is. He's basically the same character from the original timeline, just with more additions to what we know. So as for which one is basically superior, I'm going to lean to the side of the newer Sub-Zero, just as he's had a lot more happen to him, and the different styles of storytelling has allowed us to kind of explore what's gone on with him more. But in saying that, Mortal Kombat Deception Sub-Zero costume is dope as fuck. So yeah, down in the comments below, I want to hear what you guys feel about this. Which one do you think is superior? I'm very interested what everyone has to say here, as there's a lot of similarities that go on with the character, but there's also a lot of alterations. So once again, I want to hear what everyone has to say. Anyway, that's it for this video. I do hope you guys have really enjoyed it. Thanks to all of your positive reception, this will now become a new series on my channel, and I want to thank every single one of you for watching these videos, as I do find it quite interesting myself to kind of compare these two different timeline counterparts. It's just a little bit of fun and something that's quite intriguing, so please do keep your eye out for more. Now in saying that, I don't exactly have a plan for next week's episode. I'm kind of leaning towards Kitana or Raiden, but I haven't ultimately chosen which one yet. So again, like I mentioned earlier, down in the comments below, let me know which one you would like to see. But yeah, that more or less does wrap up the video, guys. And before I forget, just want to let you guys know that I'll be streaming God of War tomorrow and more or less the entire weekend. So if you're interested in experiencing that game with me, go follow my Twitch channel. A link for it will be down in the description below. So hopefully I'll be able to catch a few of you there. Now if possible, guys, before this video does wrap up, let's try getting it to about 500 likes, as a great way of helping out this channel since YouTube's ad system is broken as hell. So by giving it a thumbs up, it helps out a ton. And if you want to go that extra step, we also have a Patreon set up, and the link for that will be down in the description below. Anyway guys, as always, please comment, like, subscribe, and share this video with everyone you know. Please take care, and I'll see you all next time.